Welcome. In this video we will study the basic ideas of Stoicism, an ancient philosophy that is still relevant in our search for pleasure and well-being. We will explore the practical advice of the Stoics to face life's obstacles with calm and inner strength. We will learn to develop values, to find a purpose and to live in peace with ourselves and with others. This journey through the 10 Stoic principles for happiness will provide you with the skills and motivation to change your life, whether you want more mental clarity, emotional strength, or life pleasure. Let us begin. Principle number 1: Live according to nature. Living according to nature implies accepting and understanding that life is full of changes and events beyond our control. Instead of resisting them, it is important to learn to adapt and flow with the circumstances that arise. Nature itself constantly shows us its changing character. The seasons come and go. The days go by with their sunrises and sunsets, and we as human beings are also subject to a constant flow of experiences and situations. By recognizing the changing nature of life, we free ourselves from the illusion that we can control everything. We often cling to the idea that we can plan and anticipate every aspect of our existence, but in reality there are many external factors that are beyond our control. Learning to adapt and flow with change allows us to develop resilience and flexibility. Instead of fighting against situations that we can't change, we can focus our energy on how to best respond. This does not mean that we should resign or be passive in the face of challenges. On the contrary, it implies cultivating an attitude of openness and constant learning. We recognize that unexpected changes and events can offer opportunities for personal growth and development. By flowing with nature, we find a balance between the desire for control and the acceptance of what is out of our reach. This gives us greater serenity and allows us to live in harmony with the flow of life. We accept change as an intrinsic part of our existence and find creative ways to adapt to it. Living in accordance with nature is an invitation to embrace uncertainty and trust in our ability to face the challenges that come our way. It allows us to flow with the course of life, find meaning in our experiences, and discover greater inner peace. Principle number 2: Focus on what you can control. Focusing on what we can control is a fundamental tenet of Stoic philosophy. It implies directing our attention and efforts towards those areas of our life in which we have a direct influence on our behavior, attitudes, and decisions. In life, we are faced with numerous situations and events that are beyond our control. We may worry about the weather, other people's actions, uncertain outcomes, among many other things. However, Stoicism invites us to recognize that these worries are in vain and distract us from what really matters. By focusing on what we can control, we realize that the only true authority we have is over ourselves. We can choose how we respond to circumstances, how we behave, and what attitudes we adopt. This is a powerful tool to build a full and satisfying life. By avoiding worrying about what is out of our control, we free up a significant amount of energy and time. Instead of wasting mental resources on unproductive worries, we can direct them towards actions that really benefit us. This does not mean that we should be indifferent or passive in the face of external events. On the contrary, it implies that we must recognize the limits of our influence and focus on what we can change. Through introspection and self-examination, we can identify areas in which we can grow, improve, and make more conscious decisions. This approach also helps us develop an attitude of acceptance and inner peace. We accept that there are things that are simply out of our control and we learn to let them go. This does not imply resignation, but a wise understanding that worrying about the uncontrollable is a source of unnecessary suffering. By concentrating on what we can control, we become the protagonists of our own lives. We learn to take responsibility for our actions and cultivate a proactive mindset. This allows us to develop greater autonomy and build a solid foundation for our happiness and well-being. Principle number 3: Develops emotional detachment. Developing emotional detachment is a central aspect of Stoic philosophy. It involves learning to separate our emotions from external circumstances that are out of our control. Not allowing the opinions of others or adverse situations to affect us negatively is essential to achieve greater inner tranquility. We often tend to let the opinions of others and external events influence the way we feel and our self-esteem. We worry excessively about what they think of. We constantly seek external validation and get carried away by the ups and downs of circumstances. However, Stoicism teaches us to cultivate an attitude of healthy emotional detachment. We recognize that the opinions of others are subjective and that each person has their own perspective and judgment. We must not allow those opinions to define our value or affect us deeply. Similarly, we understand that adverse situations are inevitable in life. Instead of letting ourselves be carried away by them, we learn to remain calm and collected in the midst of difficulties. We cannot control external events, but we can control how we respond to them. Emotional detachment does not mean being insensitive or indifferent, but rather having a more balanced and wise perspective. We recognize our own emotions, but we don't get carried away by them disproportionately. We learn to observe our emotions without judging them and not fully identify with them in order to develop emotional detachment. It is important to cultivate mindfulness and self-reflection. We observe our emotional reactions to different situations and practice emotional distancing, recognizing that our emotions do not define who we are. In addition, we cultivate a solid internal foundation of values and self-esteem. We focus on our personal growth, developing our virtues and living according to our principles. This allows us to be less dependent on external opinions and judgments, strengthening our sense of identity and well-being. By developing emotional detachment, we find greater freedom and inner serenity. We free ourselves from unnecessary suffering and focus on what we can truly control: our own responses and attitudes. This allows us to live a more authentic life and in harmony with ourselves. Principle number 4: practice virtue. The practice of virtue is an essential component of Stoic philosophy. It consists of developing and practicing virtuous qualities that help us act effectively in our daily lives. Wisdom, justice, temperance and courage are some of these virtues. The goal is always to seek to act morally and do the right thing. Deep knowledge and understanding of how to lead a fulfilling and meaningful life is called wisdom. It is necessary to reflect on what we do and choose, learn from our experiences and seek the truth. Stoic wisdom helps us make decisions and understand what is truly important. Justice is the virtue of treating others fairly and equitably. It is necessary to act impartially and respect the rights and dignity of each person. The practice of justice allows us to foster harmony and fairness in our interpersonal interactions. Temperance is a term that refers to moderation and self-control. It refers to not letting ourselves be carried away by unbridled impulses or excesses in our actions and desires. Temperance helps us to balance our needs and desires in a conscious and disciplined way, avoiding falling into harmful excesses. Courage is the bravery to fight obstacles and difficulties with determination. It is necessary to overcome fear and act even when things are difficult. Practicing courage helps us face challenges with confidence and build our resilience in the face of obstacles. Cultivating these virtues in Stoicism requires a constant and conscious effort. We believe in a virtuous character that guides us in all facets of life by incorporating these qualities into our daily actions and decisions. Practicing virtue also involves acting ethically and doing the right thing, even when doing so may be uncomfortable or challenging, making choices that reflect integrity and respect for ourselves and others. We strive to align with our highest values and principles. We become better versions of ourselves. When we practice virtue, we come closer and closer to realizing our human potential by cultivating strong, genuine character. In addition, by acting ethically and doing the right thing, we help the general well-being and the progress of a more equitable and just society. Principle number 5: accept impermanence. Accepting impermanence is an essential tenet of Stoicism. It implies recognizing that everything in life is transitory and subject to constant change. Learning to appreciate and enjoy present moments without getting too attached to them allows us to live more fully, knowing that they will eventually change. Life is full of cycles and transformations. People come and go, situations develop and evolve, and nothing stays the same. By understanding and accepting this reality, we free ourselves from the illusion of permanence and resistance to change. When we become overly attached to people, situations, or moments, we create unnecessary suffering. We cling to the idea that things should always be a certain way and resist letting go when it's time for change. This resistance prevents us from fully enjoying the present moments. Appreciating and enjoying the present moments implies being fully present in them, without letting ourselves be carried away by thoughts about the past or the future. We immerse ourselves in the current experience, savoring each moment and cultivating a deep gratitude for what is happening now. At the same time, we keep a balanced perspective and remember that these moments are also fleeting. We recognize that nothing lasts forever and that sooner or later everything will change. This allows us to let go of attachments and excessive expectations and helps us enjoy the moments without clinging to them. Accepting impermanence does not mean being indifferent or insensitive to experiences. Rather, it involves embracing the beauty of the moments while they are present, knowing that they are part of a constant flow of experiences that enrich our lives. This understanding invites us to value each moment as unique and precious and to find meaning and joy in them. They help us live with greater openness and flexibility, gracefully adapting to change and flowing with the course of life. By accepting impermanence, we open our minds and hearts to the full and authentic experience. We are freed from the suffering that arises from excessive attachment and find greater serenity and inner peace. We learn to dance with the rhythm of life, finding joy in the fleeting beauty of each moment. Principle number 6. Be thankful for what you have. Being grateful for what you have is a powerful principle for cultivating happiness and satisfaction in life. It involves developing an attitude of gratitude towards everything you have. Both big and small things, recognizing and appreciating the daily blessings. Sometimes we focus on what we lack or what we long for, which leads us to experience dissatisfaction and lack of appreciation for what we already have. However, practicing gratitude allows us to shift our perspective and focus on what we do have. Cultivating gratitude involves becoming aware of the many blessings that surround us, from meaningful relationships to moments of joy and the basic comforts of life. There is much to be thankful for. Even small everyday details can make a big difference. By practicing gratitude, we develop the ability to recognize and value daily blessings. We stop to appreciate the beauty of a sunrise, the warmth of a kind smile, or the taste of a good meal. We are grateful for the opportunities for growth and learning, for health and well-being, and for the people around us. Gratitude helps us shift our scarcity mindset to an abundance mindset. Instead of focusing on what we lack, let's appreciate what we already have. This does not imply conformism, but a conscious attitude of valuing and enjoying the blessings present in our lives. By cultivating gratitude, we also strengthen our connections with others. Expressing gratitude to those who provide us with support, love, and friendship strengthens bonds and promotes positive and meaningful relationships. Also, gratitude towards ourselves helps us build strong self-esteem and a positive outlook towards ourselves. Practicing gratitude does not mean denying the challenges or difficulties that may arise in life, but rather finding a balance and recognizing that even in the midst of adversity, there is something to be thankful for that helps us find the good in every situation and develop a sense of gratitude. More optimistic and hopeful outlook. Gratitude is a daily practice that we can cultivate through reflection and the conscious expression of gratitude, whether it's keeping a gratitude journal, sharing words of appreciation, or simply taking a moment to appreciate what we have. We can open our hearts to the abundance that already exists in our lives. By cultivating an attitude of gratitude, we find greater joy, satisfaction, and well-being in our daily lives. We value and enjoy experiences more fully and move closer to the lasting happiness that comes from appreciating what we have in each moment. Principle number 7. Face obstacles with serenity. A fundamental tenet of Stoicism is to face challenges calmly. We are invited to accept challenges and difficulties as opportunities to grow and develop our character rather than avoid or regret them. We can approach them with calm and determination. In this way, life is full of challenges and obstacles that can arise in a variety of forms, such as personal problems, work problems, and unexpected setbacks. We can adopt a Stoic attitude that allows us to deal with them constructively, instead of letting ourselves be overwhelmed or discouraged by them. By approaching challenges calmly, we accept that they are an inevitable part of life and that their goal is not to hurt us, but rather to provide us with opportunities to grow and become stronger. Challenges make us overcome our limitations, acquire new skills and develop resilience. It is crucial to face the challenges with serenity and determination. Staying calm allows us to make more rational and clear decisions, avoiding impulsive or emotional reactions that could make the situation worse. Tranquility helps us keep perspective and face challenges with a balanced mindset. The inner strength that drives us to keep going despite difficulties is known as determination. It allows us to stay engaged and persevere even when the going gets tough. Determination helps us find new ways of doing things, learn from mistakes, and overcome them. It is important to remember that challenges are opportunities to develop and grow as people. Each difficulty overcome gives us strength and prepares us to face the next ones. By adopting this mentality, we become more resistant and capable of facing any difficulty. We accept obstacles as a natural part of life and strive to find solutions instead of lamenting or making excuses. We learn from each experience and use that information to meet future challenges more wisely and effectively. Facing challenges calmly gives us strength and allows us to turn obstacles into opportunities to grow. By embracing challenges as part of life's journey, we develop a resilient mindset and greater confidence in our abilities to overcome any adversity that comes our way. Principle number 8. Practice self-discipline. Practicing self-discipline is essential to achieve success and personal fulfillment. It involves mastering our desires and appetites, as well as controlling our impulses. Cultivating healthy and constructive habits helps us stay on track toward our long-term goals. Self-discipline allows us to take control of our actions and decisions. It helps us resist momentary temptations and stay focused on what really matters. By mastering our desires and appetites, we avoid indulging in self-destructive behaviors or short-term gratifications that can hinder our long-term growth and well-being. To practice self-discipline, it is important to cultivate self-awareness and self-reflection. We recognize our impulses and behavior patterns and strive to understand the reasons behind them. From there, we can establish clear goals and define the steps necessary to achieve them. Cultivating healthy and constructive habits is essential on the path of self-discipline. We establish routines and practices that support us in our growth and development. These habits can include a balanced diet, regular exercise, adequate sleep, meditation practices, or any activity that promotes our physical, mental, and emotional well-being. Self-discipline also involves learning to control our impulses. Instead of acting reactively on our instant desires, we give ourselves space to reflect and make conscious decisions. We learn to differentiate between what we really need and what is just a momentary whim. Cultivating self-discipline is not easy and requires constant effort and commitment. However, as we practice self-discipline, we strengthen our willpower and develop a greater sense of control over our lives. This allows us to achieve our long-term goals and live according to our values and principles. By practicing self-discipline, we free ourselves from the slavery of momentary impulses and find greater satisfaction and personal fulfillment. As we develop healthy and constructive habits, we move closer and closer to our best selves and become the conscious architects of our lives. Principle number 9. Look at the big picture. Looking at the big picture is an important principle in maintaining a balanced perspective in life. It implies expanding our vision and understanding that our problems and worries are only a small part of the universe. We should not obsess over details, and it is essential to keep a broader view of things. We often get carried away by our problems and worries and tend to focus on the minute details of situations. This can lead us to narrow our vision and lose sight of the larger context in which our challenges lie. Looking at the big picture means stepping back a bit and taking a broader perspective. We recognize that there is a lot going on in the world and that our problems and concerns are only a small part of the whole. By broadening our perspective, we realize that there are bigger and more important things that deserve our attention. We realize the relative insignificance of our problems compared to global challenges, the experiences of other people, or the most transcendental aspects of life. By not obsessing over the details, we avoid falling into a mindset of constant worry. We recognize that we often get lost in the details and lose sight of the big picture. By doing so, we free ourselves from the stress and anxiety that can arise from focusing on trivial details. Maintaining a broader vision of things allows us to be more compassionate and empathetic towards others. We realize that we all face challenges and worries, and that each of us is just one piece in the vast puzzle of the universe. This invites us to be more tolerant and understand that we are all navigating the complexity of life. Looking at the bigger picture, we also find greater serenity and acceptance. We understand that there are events and circumstances beyond our control and that our excessive worrying will not necessarily make a difference. We learn to let go and trust the natural flow of life. In short, by broadening our perspective and taking a broader view of things, we gain greater clarity and serenity. We free our mind from its obsession with details and embrace a deeper understanding of our connection to the world around us. This allows us to live with greater openness and acceptance and helps us find a more solid balance on our journey through life. Principle number 10: Find your purpose and its meaning. Finding purpose and meaning is essential to living a fulfilling life. It implies discovering and pursuing what gives us a deeper meaning to our existence. Setting goals and working toward them with passion and determination allows us to find purpose beyond superficial pleasure. Each person has a once-in-a-lifetime quest to discover their purpose and meaning. Finding our purpose involves reflecting on our deepest passions, talents, and values. We ask ourselves what motivates us, what we are passionate about, and what contributions we want to make to the world. By discovering our purpose, we find a clear direction that guides us in life. It gives us a sense of meaning and inspires us to wake up each day with enthusiasm and determination. Our purpose gives us a deeper reason to live, transcending superficial pleasure and guiding us toward more meaningful goals. Once we have identified our purpose, setting goals becomes essential. These goals act as guides on our path and allow us to take concrete steps towards the realization of our purpose. We work towards them with passion and determination, overcoming obstacles and persevering through difficult times. Finding a purpose beyond superficial pleasure involves seeking lasting and meaningful satisfaction. We don't settle for instant gratification or superficial goals that may be meaningless in the long run. We strive to find a purpose that contributes to the well-being of ourselves and others. By pursuing our purpose, we also cultivate a greater sense of connection and belonging. We recognize that our lives are interconnected with the fabric of existence and that our actions can have a positive impact on the world. We become agents of change and sources of inspiration for others. Finding purpose and meaning is an ongoing journey. As we grow and evolve, our goals and purpose may change. It is important to remain open and flexible, allowing our purpose to unfold and adapt as we move through life. By finding purpose and meaning, we experience a sense of fulfillment. We feel more aligned with our true essence and find greater harmony in our lives. Living on purpose gives us a sense of deep fulfillment and drives us to contribute meaningfully to the world around us. Thanks for getting to the end of the video. We have examined the 10 Stoic principles for happiness and how to apply them. We live in harmony with nature. We focus on what we can manage, develop self-discipline, and find purpose. We encourage you to continue learning these values and to grow yourself. Subscribe to our channel to learn how to apply Stoicism to your life. Share your experiences, learn from others, and be inspired to live a more real, balanced, and happy life in our community. We will continue to examine Stoic wisdom and discover new ways to develop and prosper.